framework. So we don't want much in JNet, but JNet also is used widely. You can use that JNet. So another famous framework is TestNG framework. So TestNG is basically first of all, let's discuss on the differences. So we have so JNet you have annotations very limited, right? So like at the rate before all, at the rate before each, at the rate test to, at the rate after each, at the rate after all, and at the rate run with, at the rate suit. So you can create a suit file also, no issues. And you can create a groups also, and you can one by one. Let's discuss first. First, JNet is developed by Kent Beck and Eric Gamma in 2013. And TestNG was invented by Best Cedric. So Best Cedric invented this TestNG based on JNet only. JNet is the inspiration for TestNG. That's the first difference. And in JNet, you can create the groups, right? You can create a groups. So like using tags, you can create the groups. They're like this. Tags you can use, at the rate tag name you can give. So your test case above, you can just put at the rate tag name. So that is in JNet. But in TestNG, you can use at the rate test bracket groups equal to the group name, sanity, smoke, regression. So those are the different test cases, how we'll execute manually. Those things you can use it. So that is the grouping you can do in both TestNG and JNet, both you can do grouping. But so in JNet you will use a at the rate tag, and in TestNG you will use a groups keyword to categorize your test cases. That's a second point. Third one, parallel execution. So parallel execution is possible with TestNG, but not possible with JNet. So here you can use, there is a parallel attribute, one attribute you can use. You want to run parallelly classes, tests, methods, any of these things you can run parallel. And you will use thread pool size and invocation count. And so this is how you can do parallel execution with TestNG. But you cannot do with JUnit. That's not possible. So parameterization and data-driven testing. So basically, in TestNG, you can do a parameterization with at the rate data provider annotation you can use, or at the rate parameters annotation is there. Using these two, you can do parameterization or a data-driven testing. How can you do data-driven testing in Selenium? Means you have to tell using TestNG annotation at the rate data provider will give that provision to do a data-driven testing. What is data-driven testing? So you can give that, so repeated data, repeated sets of data to the same test case. So that means you can test your scenario with a different sets of data. So that is the advantage of this data-driven testing. So you want to test with more data, so then you have to use a data-driven testing. So that data-driven testing can be done with @data provider annotation in TestNG. And parameterization also you can do. You can parameterize your method, annotated method, with @parameters annotation. These two options you have in TestNG, but you don't have this feature in GNet. So that's a next difference. So dependencies between the methods. You don't have option to set the dependency among test methods. For example, you have multiple @test methods. One test method depends on another test method. You cannot set the dependency in JNet, but you can set the dependency among test methods in TestNG. So like this, @test depends on methods equal to, and that method. That means this test method depends on this method. That means first this will execute, this method will execute. If this is successful, then it will come to this test method. Then only this will execute. If this method fails, and this will skip automatically. So that is this dependency among test methods. Dependency among test methods. Any questions? Okay, next. Reporting. So basically reporting will be, you will have reporting capability in both JUnit and TestNG. But the problem is JUnit is not that much user friendly. It will give how many passed, failed, skipped, but that clarity you won't get here in JUnit. But in TestNG, you have HTML reports, very nice report you will get, how many passed, how many failed, how many skipped. Clear report you will get in TestNG. So in JUnit, you don't have an option to create a suite file in the XML suite file. You don't have. But in TestNG, you have that option. So that's the differences between, but still more, you can say, you can prioritize the test cases in TestNG, but you cannot prioritize the test case in JUnit. You cannot set the dependency among test methods in JUnit. You can do a dependency among test methods in TestNG. So these are the some of the unique differences between JUnit and TestNG.
Ramesh, can you just brief one more time between suit, group, and methods, Ramesh? It's a little bit confused in that particular point.
Suit.
Yeah, when we use the
basically the suit you have to give in JUnit the class names. Okay, what are the classes you want to run as a suit, like this. So if you mention a suit in TestNG in JUnit, so what you need to do, you have to write like this. Right. Okay, so you will write suit. So in the suit you have to write class A, comma, class B. So B dot class, you write like this. A dot class. So you will mention all the class names here. That's how to create a suits here in JUnit. Okay. But in TestNG, you have a suit file, testng.xml suit file. So you know XML suit files, all it starts with your own tags, right? Suit
Yes.
tag will be there. So like this you have, and then test tag will be there. So then you have a suit to test, and then you have a class.
Class then.
So then you have a classes inside a class name. So you will give the class name. Okay. Like this, you can mention all your class names here. So all your class names you can mention here. So how many classes like this? So we just writing etc. How many classes you can mention? Then close the classes tag. Then close the test tag. Then close the suit tag. So this is the suit file how you will create in TestNG. This is in TestNG. So the suit name you can give maybe so you can give e-commerce automation, something you can give any name, and a test name also Chrome test and sanity test, whatever. So class A and class B and so on like that. Okay. So package 1 dot class A or package 2 dot or package 1, whatever it is, which package you have to give this structure. So this class is available in package 1 and this class is available in here. So like that you can give the complete suit file. So this suit file you will give in TestNG, but that option you don't have here in the JUnit.
Okay.
So that's the suit file combination. Okay, so any questions?
It's like a DOM structure will be there in TestNG, Ramesh. Like
Yes. You have a XML. So you can create a number of XMLs. Which XML you want, you can run it. So that is the main thing. And also, let's understand what is TestNG. A TestNG is a next generation testing framework, which is designed to simplify your testing needs. Very easy, and understandable way. Robust test cases you can develop from unit testing to integration, system testing, end-to-end testing, regression test case, all kinds of test cases you can write with the TestNG framework. With TestNG framework. So that is the so that is the TestNG framework. Basically, see if you see this diagram, so this all your test cases, your TestNG test case are on one side. And if you run them as a TestNG test, like you run now, run as a JUnit test, right? And if you run them as a TestNG test, the test case will run and you will get, this is extra. So you will get a report, you will get logs, you will get. And you can take the data from outside files also, like Excel data. You can put a Excel sheet, your data, or CSV file, your data, and you can read that data to your test cases. So that is the provision you have with the TestNG framework. And so the advantages, if you see, TestNG provides a rich annotation support, more annotations you have. So there are more annotations in TestNG. TestNG generates better HTML and XSLT reports. You'll get a nice HTML reports. We can prioritize the test cases and using @test priority equal to 1. So we can skip the test cases @test enabled equal to false. So we can set a dependency among test methods. @test depends on methods equal to, so test1, that means, so this test method depends on this test1 method. So you can set the dependency, you can skip the test cases. You have to write, if you want to skip any test case, you have to write @test enabled equal to false. If you write this, your test case won't execute. And we can group the test cases like this, @test groups equal to like smoke, sanity, regression, you can group like that. So, okay, this test belongs to which group? Later you can run only this type of group. For example, your manager asks, only run a smoke test case, or only run regression test case, or only run a sanity test case. So if you don't group them, and you cannot run which group you want to run. So the categorization purpose, you will use this groups concept. And we can run test cases parallelly on multiple browsers. Like, you can run Chrome, Firefox, all these browsers parallelly. So you even if you run one browser, one test case, you can run another browser, another test case also you can run. Like that, you can configure your suite file. And that's the advantage with this features. That is, so Selenium will, so or incorporate automatically all these features. So we can do a data-driven testing using @data provider annotation. This feature you don't have in JUnit, right? So this annotation itself you don't have there. But we have this data provider. Basically, you can read the data from Excel sheet and store in this data provider annotation. And from this, you supply to your test method. Which test method you want, you can supply to that test method. So that is this data provider annotation purpose. We can supply parameter values from XML file using @parameters annotation. We can supply parameter values from XML file using @parameters annotation. So that's all the advantages of this.
Ramesh, in test
Test
number
engine.
6, Ramesh, if there is one test case, test case 1, if I want to execute part of smoke test and part of sanity test and part of regression test,
Same test case?
I want to execute in this all these 3 groups.
One test case, one test one.
Yeah, one test 1.
Yeah, you have to declare all these groups. You have to mention all 3 groups you mention.
Okay.
So for that you mention all 3 groups. So then it will consider that test case for all these 3 groups.
3 groups. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing, you can supply parameter values from XML file using @parameters annotation. This annotation you don't have in JUnit. And you cannot prioritize your test case in JUnit. So, but TestNG provides that. You can skip the test case there and here also, but here the skipping is @test enabled equal to false, you have to write. But there, @test above, you have to keep the @ disabled. Then only it will skip. this test case won't run. So that is the how to skip test case in both frameworks. So this feature, setting the dependency among test methods, this feature you don't have in JUnit, but you have that feature in TestNG. Grouping you have in JUnit also. There you will do with tags, but here we are doing with the groups keyword. So these are all the advantages of TestNG. It has a lot of advantage. Still, it provides a listeners also. TestNG provides a lot of listeners. Basically, listeners will listen to your actions. So that's what this listeners. TestNG has its own listeners, and you can instruct. So which annotation before and after, what actions what events you want to trigger, that can be done with these listeners. So that's another listeners can basically TestNG behavior you can modify with this listeners concept. So to install TestNG in your Eclipse, you just go here. So everybody can take this. Open this link. Okay, open this link, and I'm just pinging this in the chat if you have a problem. So please install along with me. Don't waste time. It's very easy. Okay. So here I have given steps also. Go to the TestNG on the Eclipse or marketplace. That means go to help, install new software. Just take this. Help, install new software. Okay. So then you can just give. So update the site for release and with this. Just give this. And then you will get here in the pending place, you will get a
Can you
TestNG
paste
option.
that URL in our chat window, Ramesh? Can you please
Yeah.
paste it?
So I have given already our blog URL itself.
Yeah,
And also this also.
actually, Blackman.
Yeah, this also I have given. See, you will get an option like this TestNG. It will take some time for first time for you because I already completed. That's why for me it came very quickly. So, but for you, it will take some time pending. So once you give, click on add, and it will ask sometimes your name also. You can give here. You can give name here and location here, and the same URL. Whatever the URL, this URL, you can copy paste. So you can copy paste this URL. Okay, and then you can give just name TestNG. Then click on add. Automatically you will get here because I already added. You click add. Okay. So then once you get this TestNG option here, check this checkbox, then click on next. So then you will get this. So you need to your original request has been modified. So this because I already completed installation, that's why it is not showing. But yeah, once finish it because I already done. That's why. Otherwise, you will get one security option and select all those. So security options, trust all. No, and then click on finish. It will install. So how do you know? Yeah, you got it here. See, I got it. After finishing, I got it. So select all and trust selected. So it will start installing. See, it will restart Eclipse IDE to apply software update. Restart. So I'm restarting. So then your Eclipse have this TestNG software. So that's it. You just need to configure in Eclipse. Once it is available, you can start writing your test cases.
Okay. What about the other studios, Ramesh? Visual Code, Visual Studio Code.
There also you have plugins. Yeah, there also you have plugins.
Okay.
This all extension, right? These are all extension.
Yes, yes.
So you can have same approach. So you have here, there is a option extensions. You can search here, TestNG. So you can get that option, TestNG. So let me give TestNG. So TestNG Java test. Here TestNG test cases. This one is not. We should get here TestNG test runner for Java. This is not the one. Okay. Yeah, this one you can use. Here you have both. So you have both. You have both. Once you,
Today I thought to have, but
so you will get this TestNG. You will get like this once you install this. Yeah, I already did that. That's why I'll get it. So you also have that if you're using a Visual Studio Code. Okay. And others also same way. You can have any ideas, you just need to add. So now, how to check whether it is so installed or not? How can you check it? You just go to any package, right click, and you can see TestNG. Create TestNG class, convert to TestNG. These two options. But first, if you have this option already, TestNG is successfully installed in the Eclipse or configured in the Eclipse. So that's how you can configure this TestNG in Eclipse. Okay. So now let's go to, so we have seen TestNG installation in Eclipse. Advantages we have seen, the structure we have seen, the architecture of TestNG. Now let's understand the annotations. I told you it has a rich annotations. So what are the rich annotations? You have annotations from suit level to method level. Suit, test, groups, classes, methods, method level, you have annotations from suit to method level. So that is what this, so if you want to see very easily, and TestNG documentation, just search TestNG documentation in Google. So TestNG documentation. So just go here and you will have a nice report. So nice documentation basically. So documentation, and you have annotations. You can see that at that before suit, at that after suit, at that before test, at that after test, at that before groups, after groups, before class, after class, before method, after method. Can you see this? Suit to method level annotations you have. So the before suit means before suit. So as you already understood, right, that TestNG.xml. So before suit annotated method will run before all the tests in the suit have run. So for example, in the suit you have so many test cases. So those all suits test cases run before, first before suit block code will execute. That means anything before your suit you want to execute, before your test cases in the suit, before you want to execute something, maybe environment setup something, you can write that in the before suit annotation. Then this opposite is after suit. After all the test cases in the suit have completed, then finally after suit will basically collecting the logs and closing the environment, shut down the environment, everything you can do in the after suit. So before suit, you can set up the environment or something, any preconditional actions in the before suit. Before running any test method before, you can do this before suit. But this also execute only one time. And then after before suit after, then it will execute other annotated methods and then test methods. And finally, every test case is completed. Then after suit will execute. Then after suit will execute. So are you clear? The syntaxes are, see, at the rate before suit and public void before suit method, and write the code here and curly bracket. So this is a method, basically a Java method, right? So before suit is a Java method. And after suit means, so this annotated method will be run after all the tests in this suit have run. So at that after suit, public void after suit, and you can just write the code. So it will run after all the test cases. Finally, after suit code will execute. So then before test, so and after test. So before understanding this before test, after test, you need to understand first testng.xml file. So this is the testng.xml file. So as I mentioned very clearly, you can invoke testng in several different ways with a testng.xml with and is no more from command line also. But testng.xml is the most preferred way to trigger your test cases. See, first suit tag. This is the declaration. So XML declaration, this one. And then suit tag, name equal to suit name, verbose equal to 1. And these are different attributes, right? You remembered in HTML, I explained attributes. Tag inside, open tag inside, you have attributes. So now name value. So another one, another attribute value within double quotes. So these are the attributes. Test tag, name, that value. Then classes tag inside, class tag, name, a class name. So classes tag, close the classes tag and close the test tag. So this is the one test tag. Okay, like that you can create a suit inside, you can create a multiple test tags. Again, test tag can contain classes, and class inside you have a class. So this is the one class and this is another class. Again, class inside you have methods. That's the hierarchy, right? The structure of your program. Class inside you have methods. So each test tag represents a different way. Each test tag purpose is different. Maybe this test tag I can use to run my all test cases in Chrome. That I can give Chrome test. So this I can give Edge test, and one more test tag I can add, and I can run another browser, Firefox test. So like that you can create multiple test tags inside the suit tag. See now suit. So this test is closed here. This test is closed here. This test again started and closing here. But finally suit is closing here. You know, right? The start tag and end tags, the difference. So this is the, with the two test tags, you have an XML file. This is suit file, we call this. testng.xml suit file. This is the one of the interview question. Can you give me a testng.xml suit file format? See how simple question. So you have to tell first doc type, then suit tag, test tag, classes tag, classes inside. You can mention all the classes with each class with a class tag, and then close the classes tag, close the test tag, and you can close the suit tag. Maybe simple one test tag you can tell, not required all of them. So that you can do that. Okay. So that is the, no, you understand this. So why I'm telling is, before understanding this annotations, before understanding these annotations, before test, after test, we should know this XML structure. Okay. So now before test means, so before test is the annotated method will be run. That means the before test annotated method will be run before any test method belonging to the classes inside the test tag is run. This is the tag level annotation, this one. A before test is a tag level annotation, test tag level annotation. So this before test will execute before any test in this. So in this test tag inside classes execution, before first this before test will execute. That is the meaning of @before test. So that's what the @before test, public void before test, and curly bracket, and you can write a code here. So which code you want to run for that test, that test tag. And then after test means, suppose before test is executed, then cursor will go to these classes. For example, you have a one class. This one class will execute completed, right? This is completed. Now test tag is ending here. So after this test tag ending, after the after test will execute. So that means first before test, that test tag inside, then test tag inside classes, then after test. You have one more test tag. Again, cursor will go to before test, and then these classes, class 1 and class 2, and then after test will execute. That means the before test will repeat for every test tag. Every test tag it repeats. So every test tag it repeats. That is the before test and after test. So those are test tag level. Those are test tag level. Before test to after test are test tag level. So the before test, after test are test tag level. So that is how you can test them. And so this is the package level also. Instead of writing all the classes, you can mention entire package. Suit tag, test tag, then packages. Instead of classes, you can put a packages and give package name. So that this package inside, what are all the classes are, all classes will run. So that's another way to represent your suit file. So that's all about this before test and after test.